Hello, thanks for being in a new video. On this occasion I have an unboxing of the Huawei Pura 70. Let's get started. Remember that in this case we are talking about the base model of the whole series, which has as a big brother the Huawei Pura 70 Pro and as an even bigger brother the Huawei Pura 70 Ultra. So of all of them we will have unboxing and review, but for now let's focus on this base model because its price is possibly the most attractive. In Mexico, it has been announced at a launch of 19,999 pesos with gifts like headphones and other things, but they are also giving a coupon of 30% discount. So the final price is 13,999. On screen, you were seeing the reference prices in dollars, although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. However, I must say that at this price, applying the coupon, it is practically irresistible, this device, especially if you are very interested in photography. But join me in taking it out of its box. And as you realize, we are directly with the device, which in this case is in white color, although I must confess that I also have the pink edition, so you can see both devices. The truth is that they look very interesting. I obviously wouldn't use this one, it's too flashy for me, but the white color definitely looks great. In this case, Huawei has gone for a slightly more minimalist design, unlike the last generation, which had a more artistic finish. Although it is worth remembering that the Huawei P60 in its base edition did not set foot on Mexican soil. So I have here with me as a special guest the Huawei P50, which as you can see came with a much more reflective finish. So at this same level, this would be the predecessor in Mexico, although globally there was also, as I say, the Huawei P60. But just as a curious fact, here I have this device that had a very different design. Remember that Huawei is characterized by constantly releasing designs. So, the device is extremely nice. We leave it on while we see what else comes in the box. And as you notice, we come across the tool to remove the tray. And inside this envelope, we're also going to find the case, which is semi-rigid, although with completely rigid corners. So it's going to defend in a good way against any fall to this device. Let me see what it looks like with the case on, because personally I would use it without the case because of this finish that doesn't have as many reflections. But notice how when we put the case on, it's going to have a lot more reflections in the image, which I personally don't like very much. So it's up to you as a user, I insist. I would use it without the case to have the most advanced aesthetics possible. And well, now it only remains to see the charger and cable. As you can see, we are talking about Huawei's supercharged charging of 66 watts. In this case, it is a European connector because it is a review unit. But remember that if you purchase the devices officially in your country, it should come with your country's power adapter. So here's what we have. We see USB-A on this side, so the cable I guess comes with USB-A and USB-C. Unlike the Pro model that we were seeing that comes with both sides with USB-C for something more advanced. So that's what we found in the box. The device is already configured, so let's get to know the specifications it offers us. It weighs 207 grams and is 7.95 millimeters thick, although evidently the camera module comes to protrude significantly. As you notice, it has two levels of relief, so that also has to be considered, but it's one of the most attractive things obviously about this device. The display is completely flat, 6.6 inches in its diagonal, with LTPO OLED technology from 1 to 120 Hz. With a resolution of 2760 by 1256 pixels. So it's a very good screen. It's also going to offer us a very good level of brightness. And I think for anyone who's looking for a high-end device with a flat screen, it can definitely be an attractive form factor as well, because there are a lot of other devices that are betting on curved screen. Also in this case protected with second generation Kunlun glass, so it will not only offer us a good aesthetic, but it will also have very good resistance with this screen that is very hard. In addition, if we will offer stereo sound with a speaker below and another in the earpiece for calls. Obviously that was something we expected from a device with these features. The front camera is 13 megapixels with f2.4 aperture. It is an ultra wide camera that has several wide angles, although it has fixed focus. Here I have the preview before taking the picture, and it still looks with some overexposed and burned out areas, but after taking the picture, the result is super good. In this case, also in conjunction with a screen with HDR technology, it is able to show us with very good quality the areas of higher illumination, increasing the brightness of the screen exclusively in these areas, while other areas keep them with these characteristic shadows. So I really like the picture a lot. But I like even more how it looks through this screen. On the back we have the 13mm ultra-wide camera with 13 megapixels and f2.2 aperture. Fortunately it does have autofocus, so it also works for macro photography. Then there is the 24.5mm camera, considered the main camera, 50 megapixels with variable aperture, from f1.4 to f4.0, and optical stabilization. It is a considerably advanced camera, especially on the subject of variable aperture, that few devices currently offer, and in this case it does so with a very wide range. And finally there is the camera of 125mm, that is 5x approximate optical zoom, with 12 megapixels and aperture f3.4, plus optical stabilization. This camera does not have macro capabilities, unlike the ultra-wide camera, so it's a very competitive photographic system. Although it's obviously not the most advanced from Huawei, that's reserved for the Pro model and the Ultra model. As usual, here are some sample pictures. This is the ultra-wide camera, and it also takes HDR pictures, so the brighter areas of the clouds, they are also being illuminated. Notice how the moment you make a gesture, it turns that option off. And when I release my finger, it turns that option back on. Then there are areas of the photograph that emit more light on this screen, and they look really good. So this is the ultra-wide camera, which I think has good quality. Now this is the main camera, which I also feel has a good quality. Subsequently, you're looking at a photograph with 2x digital zoom, but honestly it doesn't look like digital zoom. It looks very good, with very good detail. Now you're looking at the 5x zoom picture, where we're already using the specific lens, and it still looks very detailed. This is a photograph at 10x zoom, then 30x, and finally the maximum, which is 50x on this device. And I think even though it's 50x, which is, let's say, half of what they achieve, other premium range devices, still at 50x, I feel like it gives too good a level of detail, so I think it's very good. The photographic system that it integrates. Watch, this is an object that I'm going to photograph from up close in this borehole. So with the ultra-wide camera, this is what you could achieve. It's a very good result for macro photography. And with the main camera, by zooming in a little bit, you can also achieve very good results. So both cameras do a good job. For macro photography as well. And finally for portraits. Notice it's a very good quality as well. In foreground and background detection. It does blur with a lot of precision. I really loved it. How it takes portrait photography so accurately. And in fact, you can do it from different focal lengths. This is 1x photography, but also with 2x's. You can take the portrait photo, and it still maintains good detection. It also maintains a good level of detail. And I insist that I find the result very good. And it also lets you take with the 3x setting for a much more natural look and a more professional perspective. Telephoto lens for portrait photography. Plus I like that despite being 3x, it still maintains a very good level of detail, considering we're talking about digital zoom. But it doesn't really feel like digital zoom. The picture quality is very good. It also has the ability to record video in 4K, both with the rear cameras. As with the front camera, the battery has a capacity of 4,900 mAh, and it supports Huawei's 66-watt charging. It also supports wireless charging, and also reverse wireless charging, so you couldn't just buy a charger to have it on your desk, and just by simply placing it on top of it, start charging, but also some accessories, like headphones or watches. You could place them on the back of the cell phone, so that they charge without any problem. Then it has this kind of features that are only usually seen in devices. Much more expensive, especially referring to the promotional price. Applying the coupon. In fact, wireless charging supports a maximum of 50 watts, which is very impressive, because the wireless charging of this device is more powerful than the wired charging from an iPhone or a Galaxy. By the way, it also has IP68 resistance level against water. It also integrates 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. It comes with EMUI 14.2, so you could already have Google natively. You simply have to follow an installation process of these apps and services, but perfectly. You can have YouTube and other Google apps. In fact, you could also log in games that require sign in with Google. So I made a video where I show you how to install Google services on this device, so you can follow along in case you want to. But notice how in this case, I already logged into a game directly with Google without any complications. So that is one of the advantages as well of having the software up to date with EMUI 14.2. And lastly, the processor is the Kirin 9000S1. At least that's what the information shows from the Huawei page of some countries. Although in Mexico the specific information does not appear. But there is still a bit of mystery around the Huawei processors. So let's see what power it is able to give us this special edition from the Kirin 9000, which comes with a core running at 2.49 GHz, 3 cores running at 2.15, and 4 cores running at 1.53. Let's start this benchmark test. Although remember that the actual performance, we'll see it in the video review. When we open a lot of applications, we play various content, and let's also test the power to export video and other things. Then let's wait for it to finish and get back to you. And ready, here is the result: 1187 on single core and 3458 on multi-core, proving that it's a device that still it cannot get to stand out for raw power. If you are one of those looking for maximum power from a device, still Huawei is slightly below because of all the restrictions imposed on them, the United States government. But little by little it seems to be coming out ahead. And honestly, for the vast majority of people, it's going to be a pretty efficient processor and powerful. Although I repeat that if you are one of the people that seeks maximum power, you will find it in other devices possibly. For now, we have come to the end of this first look. But remember that soon, we will have the full review. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you can tell us about it. And see you next time.